First things first, I'm going to give honor and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakwadash. We'll say Barakat Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barakat Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Barakat Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakwadash. And we give double honors to our apostles and our elders, which are the apostle elders, a great millstone, which feed us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit and power of Yahbashim Yahushai. 2025, which is the hopeful year of our deliverance and the judgment and the destruction of Esau. Let's jump right into this video. This is Instagram.
Honestly, you can't even make this stuff up. Sanhedrin letter to Trump. You have been elected
to Trump from the Sanhedrin. Okay, going back to the small hats. And it's very interesting information because we've been pulling out and telling about concentration camps. They're going to have guillotines in these concentration camps, and they're going to, would you say they're going to enact those judgment for those that won't be re-educated. The camps are going to play like re-education camps because the new society to come, once they take out these governments and all these things, is auto-ab chaos. Because if there's nobody supposedly over these departments that's going to lead to certain things, they've already set the chaos with these migrants coming in. They let these migrants in because they already knew the plan that was going to come out of them letting them in, which is more control. Same thing with after 9/11. You had the Patriot Act, and that Patriot Act intensified to another version of it, and it hasn't went away. So let's go ahead and watch this video. Lord willing, is that a final lesson to prove that we close to those times, man.
Make this stuff up. Sanhedrin letter to Trump. You have been elected to fulfill a heavenly mission. Now, before we go any further, for those of you that don't know, these are the Sanhedrin right here. The guys that charged Jesus Christ with blasphemy. So these guys write an open letter.
Modern day Sanhedrin, that's the small hats.
The Nascent Sanhedrin published an open letter to Donald Trump, blessing him for putting faith at the forefront by establishing a White House faith office. It's kind of weird. The Sanhedrin called on the president to establish, check this out, an international divine court for all nations. Dear Honorable President Trump, may Hashem, God, the Creator, bless you and your nation. We extend our heartfelt gratitude for bringing faith to the forefront of American and global culture by establishing the faith office in the White House. This refers to the president's announcement last week, the National Prayer Breakfast, that he would create a White House faith office headed by Pastor Paula White. Major red flag there. White is an outspoken supporter of Israel who has been at the forefront advocating for the Jewish state since October 7th. Earlier last week.
And it's not coincidence that he said he's going to take Gaza. And we know what that is. So he's taking it for his masters, those that are given the stepping orders. But because you got to bow the knee, they're the ones that's ruling this world that you see as a dark hand. All right, they own all the major infrastructures, all the major corporations, from BlackRock, Vanguard, all these companies that are buying up stocks, buying up real estate, have the control Lockheed Martin. All these things are ran by the Amalekites.
White met for 4 hours with Prime Minister Netanyahu. The Sanhedrin's letter continued. This is where it gets interesting. Your recognition of the importance of religion in public life is a step toward restoring moral values and spiritual leadership in the world. The Sanhedrin then listed the Universal Moral Code. Now, this Universal Moral Code here is known as the Noahide laws. Now, if you're not familiar with the Noahide laws, I encourage you to research them yourself. We're not going to go through them all in this video. The letter then goes on and lists the 7 Noahide laws, and we're gonna pay attention here. The Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and
now he pointed out the Noahide laws. Let's go down here, and this is the same letter that he's bringing out. Okay, it asks the Noahide laws. It says the book of Genesis has profound messages, unity and divine purpose for humanity through 3 foundational principles: only power, recognizing the cause of all causes, the first, only one man first. One basic law, and it's going into the Noahide laws. Okay, Now, if you see these things, this should be a flag to you, because there's something in the Noahide laws that has a clause in it. Okay, says guillotine death by Noahide laws. It says guillotine death by Noahide laws passed by Congress in 1991. Listen close. It says few Americans have ever heard of the guillotine death by Noahide laws, and Trump pushed that. Trump said, let's see here. Watch this. Let's say Trump right here, this was in 8 months ago. It says Trump says bring back the guillotine in campaign funding email. Former President Trump accused politician opponents of going after him in his support yesterday in fundraisers. Let's see here. Right here, watch letter. It says, see if the article will pop up. But look, we'll read the caption. It says, watch late night with Steve Myers clip. Trump says, bring out the guillotines. It says, bring out the guillotines in campaign funding. It says, Biden must use the final months of office. Let's see here. But the main point is, there's a clip that he says and brings that out. Now, let's go into the article. It says, few Americans have ever heard of guillotine death by Noahide law that passed Congress in 1991 and signed into law and was approved March 20th, 1991 by President of the U.S. George Bush Sr. And it says, to keep this simple, the law that are now a part of the American legal system said that if you have any other faith than the Talmud, counterfeit, cabal, or break any of the 7 Noahide laws, and one person says that you have done so, you can have your head chopped off. What exactly are the 7 Noahide laws that George Bush signed into law, providing evidence of a possible one world religion? See? Office, they say in the courts that should be ruled by all. You seeing that? It says U.S. President George Bush signed Public Law 10214, a Congress resolution on 7 Noahide laws. It says prior to this event, the variant says the bill was passed in the House by a voice vote on March 5th, 1991. And the passed of the Senate on March 7th, 1991, proclamation was as follows. Whereas Congress recognizes the historical tradition of ethnical values and principles which are bias of civil society and upon which our great nation was founded. Whereas with these ethical principles have been bedrock of society from the dawn of civilization when they were referred to as 7 Noahide laws. So it's going and bringing the Noahide law, and one of the parts is that you can have your head chopped off. All right, and they have what you call custom made, if I can bring that up. I think it's Chanel guillotines, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go here. Yeah, right here. It says top scorched Chanel guillotines, Breakfast Nook, 1998. And these are these right here. Show you we're not, they got them. Designer guillotines. Okay. So these are true. You can see it yourself. Chanel guillotine by Tom Sarch on Art2Net. Okay. So they got modern day guillotines. So this ain't something that we just bringing out. So the main point is that they're moving towards these, the goalpost is being moved because it's fulfilling prophecy. Okay, this is the book of Revelations 20 and verse 4. We're reading NLT, and it says, then I saw thrones, and the people sitting on them had been given the authority to judge. And I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the testimony about Yahweh Shai. That's showing you that it ain't the testimony that's being pushed now. Because if it was the so-called Christianity of modern times and modern era, okay, then that wouldn't be, because all of these politicians, they worship that. Some of them consider themselves Christian. Some of them consider themselves worshipers of the Lord. So it ain't that. It's going to be a version that's not rarity or so-called that's accepted by the masses. Okay, just like the Christians in the time of Rome, their belief on Yahweh Shai was not accepted by the masses. It was a new upcoming belief, which was fulfilling a prophecy. It wasn't a so-called trend. It was a prophecy that was being fulfilled. That's why the believers started growing and that the truth started flourishing, just like it is now. When the truth came on the internet, it woke up a lot of men across the planet Earth, and mainly in the land of Babylon. So a lot of these men woke up to the truth, and now you have camps. You have different camps or factions, but mainly you got brothers going out there on the highways and the byways, which is causing an uproar. Okay, it says, then I saw thrones, and the people sitting on them had given the authority to judge, and I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the testimony of Yahweh Shai and for proclaiming the word. How you proclaim it? You go out there on the highways and the byways. You go on the internet. You see all these lessons coming out. All these things that are telling Esau that he's the devil. This place is being brought down in the time of the Jabberwocky, who was speaking against it, whose pages were getting cut. That's because we are proclaiming the truth. That's why it says, lift thy voice as a trumpet, show my people their transgression. So as we push this word, we push this truth, it's shaking up the whole planet Earth. And they're not liking it. They're going to have to get carnal, man. They've sent their spiritual assassins that didn't work. They sent a smear campaign. They've deleted our pages. Now the algorithm can't keep up with all our videos. That's why the apostle had the spirit put on him to say do videos, because the algorithm, it's hard for it to catch up. If brothers are doing videos constantly, it has to go through all those videos, and it's going to lag because it has to go through, if it's an hour or 20 minutes, hour and a half, 2 hours, brothers on the highways and byways Saturday. So it's hard for it to keep up and to censor all this knowledge that's coming out. And it says, proclaim the word of Yahweh. They had not worshipped the beast or his statue, nor accepted his mark on their foreheads, because it's going to come down. Because if they implement a so-called nationwide identification system, if you don't have that system and you're out of the so-called, you're out of the framework, then you're an outsider. So they could push this too, because you got these immigration crisis that's happening. You got the war on the southern border with Mexico. There's troops down there. All these things are culminating. These are birth pains. Things are happening left and right. You can't pinpoint where it's coming from, but that's how it's set up. And it says, they had not worshipped the beast or his statue, nor accepted his mark on their foreheads or their hands. They all came, it says, they all came to life again, and they reigned with Yahweh Shai for 1,000 years. Because it says, those that lose his life shall gain it. Because the same thing with Yahweh Shai, when he was put to death, he rose back up through the power of Yahweh, okay, to sit on the right hand of the Heavenly Father. And it says, this is Amplified Bible. Then I saw the thrones, and sitting on them were those who won judgment, those whom judgment, that is, the authority to act as judges, was given. That's going to be what the Yahweh Shai tell the disciples. It says, ye that follow me in the regeneration. So I sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, which is rulership. It says, because of the testimony of Yahweh Shai, because of the word of Yahweh, and those who had refused to worship the beast or his image, and had not accepted his mark on their foreheads or their hand, and they came to life and reigned with Yahweh Shai for 1,000 years. Okay, because that 1,000 years goes into Esau's being put into bondage and judged, and then after the 1,000 years, these nations are going to go to their own lands. They're going to have dominion over themselves. The Moabites, the Ammonites, the Ishmaelites, all these nations are going to be able to set up their own rulership, their own underlings, but we're going to be the main ones on the planet Earth, okay? Management. They're going to pay tribute, that tithe. They're going to tithe to us, okay? Because they're going to be following the law, okay? And the nation, the Lord said, I should make a nation of kings and priests, okay? Because we're going to teach these nations the law. We're not going to have to teach Israelites. Israelites are only going to be in the spirit. They're not going to be having to be taught the laws, because the Lord is going to place it in their inward parts. The bodies, they're going to be able to be receiving to the law, statutes, and commandments. This is Psalms 94 and verse 2, because they got a law in there, right? But check this out. This is Psalms 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frame mischief by a law, the Noahide law. Okay, so they're framing it, and you always got to watch when these small hats are endorsing something, because it's leading towards an agenda. It's not just a simple, oh, we're just it's kind at you, because they don't fuck with nations anyway. They call them goyim, cattle. So what would they? It's not a benefit for them. Okay. This is Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe to those who enact unjust statutes and issue oppressive decrees. Because this is going to turn into an oppressive decree. It's not going to be a good thing, especially for you Israelites, when this thing comes, because the world knows that the Israelites have been growing, and now they got to ask, who's the real God's chosen? You got these blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans coming out and say they're the people, and then you had Putin let out the icons, which is showing that we are the people in historical evidence. So now they got to act, because now the world, they don't even want people to answer the question. They don't want to be so-called tried when it comes to their agenda that they've been pushing. So it's here. Micah 2 and 1, woe to those who devise iniquity and plot evil on their beds. At morning light they accomplish it, because the power is in their hands, and they have it. Because this guy he's bought and paid for, man, by either so-called, they got some dirt on him, right? If he let out, he's going into clinker, and he's going to be embarrassed on a worldwide level. Okay. It says Habakkuk 1 and verse 4, therefore the law is paralyzed, and justice never goes forth for the wicked, him and the righteous, so that the just is perverted, and that justice is perverted. Because true justice is giving us our identity back, setting up the land, but that's not going to happen, because that's not going to fulfill prophecy. But the Lord said the saints shall take the kingdom. All right. So we're setting up that time now. Yahweh Shai is giving us that power through the word, because the word is power. Okay. That is the beginning of spiritual power, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the world cannot fight. He says, I shall give you a mouth and a tongue that no man shall be able to gainsay nor resist. That's why this truth is spreading, because we're pushing the actual truth. We're not pushing our own doctrine. We're not pushing our own agenda. All right. So Yahweh Shai is flourishing it, and it's a beautiful time we're living in. But I just had to bring that quick information out, show brothers that, hey, it's coming. The information is here. We're close to the end. So with that, I say, call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. Until the next time, I say shalom.